Hi there, this is Lori. This is the very first time I've recorded anything related to coloring or coloring books. I have recorded many times on the greeting cards that I make from scratch, but never anything related to coloring. But I finally completed a coloring book. This one is Worlds of Wonder by Johanna Basford. She's my favorite coloring book illustrator, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is probably my favorite coloring book she's come out with. Worlds of Wonder, which was published in 2021, I believe. So it took me a little while. I mean, I colored in other things over time, but I really love this one. And throughout the coloring book, I used Prismacolor Premier pencils. And I like the way most of these pictures turned out. And I was right, it was 2021 when this book came out. I love all these little islands, and she has done this again in her latest coloring book, which is Magical Worlds. And I like the little whale here. And here's one of my definite favorites. I love this elephant and the balloons, and I like the colors I selected because it reminds me of India. And I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I used some sparkly gel pens on the balloons on this one. And I like this one. I don't know what made me do this, but I drew a circle in the center of the page and colored everything inside the circle in vibrant colors and everything outside the circle in grays and blacks and whites. And I like the way it turned out. And this one was just the bicycle on the page all by itself. So I added the picket fence and the tree and the little vines and a cobblestone walkway and the sidewalk, which I don't do very often. I mean, I'll do a background, but I don't usually add things to the pictures. This is the one I did not color because it's the only double page spread I did not color because I had already colored it two other times. Once in Flourish, which was the coloring book that Joanna gives out when you subscribe to her newsletter. And I was just tired of it, so I left it. Maybe someday I'll go back and do it, but not anytime soon. And got my steampunk piranha and my ghost ship just sailing around out in the ocean with nobody on it. And I did add to this double page spread. I added the clouds across the top and the cobblestone street at the bottom. Just needed something to ground it. Otherwise, they were just these floating shops and houses and stuff. Lots and lots of vegetables and fruits. And I really love this page because I love anything with lemons in it. And I also love the scent of lemons. So this was a really fun one to do. Um, yeah, that's it on that. When I was coloring the tent, I pretended that this was my little hideaway, like when I was a little girl. And I would have my coloring books in there, my crayons, and my little tea set and some cake. That would be my little hideaway. All the birds. I like the way all the birds inside the circles turned out. And I tried to make them similar to actual birds that we would find in North America, like a blue jay and a robin, I think I was trying for there, a goldfinch, and I can't remember what this little guy was, but I like the way they turned out. I like the vibrancy of the one on the left where I drew a circle to represent a gigantic setting sun, and then I put some clouds in the background. A sky full of fish. Why not? I have to tell you, for the longest time, in the years that I owned this book, for the longest time, I thought this was a double page spread. But then when I colored, I think I colored the right side first, and then I was going to move over to the left side. I suddenly realized that these are not a double page spread at all, that these are two separate images. So I colored them, slightly differently. But I like the way both of them turned out. And I especially like in the lower right of this one, I like the way I did my crystals. I'm not very much somebody who's really good at coloring crystals, but I took a stab. I think I might have followed what someone else had done and took a stab at doing them this way. And, used a white paint pen to go around the edges so that they would look more crystally. I think out of all the pages in this book, this is the one I liked the least. I was sort of trying to go for, like an English garden where there would be paths of grass between the beds, the flower beds, but it didn't come out that way, and I don't really like it, to be honest. I really like the fish pulling the bottle full of mushroom houses. I just love the whimsy nature of it, and I like how vibrant I got the colors. I think it came out nicely. On this page, I used either watercolor or maybe Dina Wakley scribble sticks. I can't remember to do the background and the clouds and whatnot. And I think the color came out nicely, but it did crinkle the page quite a bit. Um, and I think I had not yet colored the camel on the flip side. So it was a little irritating to try to color on the crinkled page. with the poor camel, but it's okay. It's a coloring book, for crying out loud. It's not like I'm, you know, writing something that will, or coloring something that will live in perpetuity. So, the Mushroom Village, where all the little gnomes live. And I like the background on this one. I did it with pencil. And I don't remember if I said this already, but I colored the entire book with Prismacolor Premier pencils, which is my favorite brand of pencil. I just like the softness of them and the blendability. And so I did the whole background in colored pencil. Excuse me. In this picture over on the right, I colored around Christmas time, either last year or the year before, I can't remember. So I gave it a Christmas theme. I put Christmas trees behind some of the windows, and I put a wreath on the house and a wreath somewhere else. I can remember right there. And Christmas lights here, there, and everywhere. So it was kind of fun to make it or turn it into a Christmas page, even though it wasn't to start with. And there's my butterfly rainbows, my test palette page, which I did use a little bit. And then finally the French flap on the back. I colored both of the inside flaps, and that's another thing I don't normally do, but I like this book so much I decided to color the flaps too. And that's it for Worlds of Wonder. The next time I finish another book in another 6 years or however many years it took me, we'll have another recording. Thanks for watching.